the idea of cancel culture?
I think one big one for me was when I got cancelled.
Do you think it's ever beneficial or appropriate for someone to be cancelled?
Not cancel culture as in cancel the person, but cancel that behavior.
A lot of people say online harm isn't real harm, but how accurate is this statement?
There's clearly some cases of doxing. They managed to find out my condo apartment at that point in time.
To be discussed like by men, it just feels like, why do they have the rights to do it?
I guess we're going into the idea of cancel culture because that's something that is so big in the online realm. So how would you actually define what cancel culture is?
I believe it's like a whole mob, right? Coming at you, running at you, trying to pull you down.
I mean, a lot of times we do have friends in the industry who were being cancelled and stuff like that, and when they were going through certain saga or anything, like a lot of times we just kind of like, we hide. Because we are afraid that if we have a stand, then they will cancel us too. But actually, why are we so afraid of having a stand? Cancelling someone to the stage where you send emails to the clients like, hey, you shouldn't be using this person because this person may be going through a certain saga. Like, is it necessary?
I think one big one for me was when I got cancelled for doing a commercial. They put out a commercial with a big name with myself in it as well, and basically they put on, with context in the commercial, it makes a lot of sense. They cut short the advertisement for like smaller advertisements to put out one version on a social media platform that was just me dancing in a kurta. So when they did that, it was just 15 seconds of me dancing in the traditional Indian costume. Everyone was like, you are racist, you like, how dare you like culturally appropriate like my culture, why were you hired, you're not even Indian. You know for yourself, you're so strong in your own beliefs and you're like, I'm a good person. But just getting in and out, people telling you are bad for this, you are bad, you start questioning yourself. You start going, maybe I am racist, maybe I am a bad person, I didn't even realize. The commercial also didn't really defend the artists, and it hurts, it sucks because I was the face of that like commercial. My head was planted on it. So it looked like my idea, it looked like I decided to do all of this, but it was a commercial. I was asked to do all of these things, and that's the problem with an online platform. A lot of people just choose to not see things, choose to not look at the full picture, and they just choose to pinpoint little things and go, you are a bad person for this.
If you apologize, you may seem insincere. And if you don't, it might even come off as like, oh, act blur, live longer. It's like, you just want it to pass. And then it's like, why aren't you speaking up about it? You know, you can't please everyone.
What do you feel like you needed from supporters, friends, family?
I feel like the only thing that I needed was people to ground me, because I would constantly look online and be like, look what everyone's saying about me. The likes go up, like the likes of that comment, not the likes of the video. The like of that hate comment keeps going up and you're like, they're agreeing, everyone thinks I'm racist. I was so tired of pleasing people.
A lot of times now we are encouraged to speak up when we see something wrong. And there's nothing wrong inherently with that. We should speak up when we see something wrong. But we have to balance that with the, do I have the full information? Am I speaking up with the right context? But I feel like because it's online, people are very just confident to either write on the previous comment that says this is wrong, and then it creates momentum. But I think if we just take a step to say, do I have the full information? Maybe I'll reach out directly to the content creator to find out what happened. Can I see the full video? But I think we haven't got that balance, which is why people are just happy to say wrong, wrong, wrong. If everyone can just stop and say, wait a minute, do I have enough information to take a stand? Then you take a stand.
Do you think only content creators or influencers get cancelled?
No, I think right now today, as long as you have a phone, you are putting yourself out there, you are exposed to online harm. So I think it's really important for every single one to be equipped with the skill set to learn how to protect yourself.
Like your own settings, right? For your social medias, you can restrict certain comments, certain words that may trigger you or that you commonly see in your hate comments. Like a lot of platforms nowadays have that functionality that we should learn how to take full advantage of.
Do you feel like there's ever an instance where you unintentionally or intentionally harm someone online?
Yeah, definitely. Like I have a case. Back then I was involved in a saga and I have people coming at me, and then before finding out the whole situation, I actually jumped on social media and I posted a story. I didn't say who, but it was very obvious that who my post was directing to. And because I was feeling emotional about that whole incident, and then I did that. And I think for that, I would want to take this opportunity to say I'm sorry and to be fully accountable of my own actions, because I believe at certain stage of our life, we definitely make mistakes, we hurt people.
I feel that because a lot of our friends are in the industry, right? So we feel for them on that very emotional aspect already. It's like, hey, I know you as a person, why you would never do this, right? So when I try and stand up for some people, right, when they're in the midst of getting cancelled, I don't know whether it's really helping them. It might be adding even more unnecessary comments on
It's
there.
like a double-edged sword,
Yeah,
right?
double-edged sword. So it's like, you don't know, should you support them? Which you should, like maybe in private, but not online, I don't know.
Do you think it's ever beneficial or appropriate for someone to be cancelled?
I think there's no need to really cancel anyone. If there's anything criminal and thing, leave it to the law.
To some extent, it's quite necessary when it comes to scenarios that cannot be reasoned with, right? Rape, murder, right? All these kind of things that we can all agree that it's bad things. Not cancel culture as in cancel the person, but cancel that behavior that no, we shouldn't be allowing this to happen. In a more social media setting, no need to really ruin someone's life over a silly post or something that was beyond their control as well.
People can be told when they're doing something wrong. I, again, don't agree that their whole life should depend on it and suddenly like they can't have a future. I'm sure everyone has seen other people get cancelled and you see them just struggle to put rice on their table. For some people, it really just affects their whole life. They can't move on from it.
I think the problem with cancel culture, cancelling a person rather than cancelling the behavior, is that it's a disproportionate response. It doesn't just say you committed this one murder, therefore you will pay for the murder. It is like you will forever never hold a job, and then you have to give up all your friends and your family also have to give up their friends and family and maybe jobs, right? You can just punish the person for that act. So it's okay if you want to say something about someone has done something wrong, like murder, you can say something. I don't think murder is right. But the part where you start to flex out into the rest of this person's life, then that is disproportionate, and I don't think that should happen, really.
The problem with this online, putting yourself online now is that everyone feels like they're your teacher now. If you do something wrong, everyone feels like they need to speak up. And to suddenly be called out by everyone is also not the easiest and the best way to learn.
And in saying that, do you feel like cancel culture has made it scarier to put your genuine opinions online?
For sure. I feel like every content creator or anyone in the social world can agree that sometimes they will want to put something out and you're like, wait, will this offend someone? Will I get cancelled for it?
That in itself is the way that you're trying to censor yourself as a content creator, right? Trying to say, okay, we're definitely not going to talk about some things. So personally for myself, I will focus on the content that I like to put out. I won't speak on topics that I personally have no knowledge of, because I'm here to learn.
Did you know at that point of time that there were laws that you could turn to for these sort of incidents? Did you go to a lawyer or to police for these incidents?
I personally did not. So to the forum where there was a 20-page discussion, right, about my body, I only wrote in with my ex-partner to the forum owners and explained that, hey, they seem to be doxing my address and revealing it on a public platform. I think that's wrong. So that was like my one token, right, to be able to take it down in that sense.
As much as it was hurting me, I didn't think it was worth like bringing it into a whole like situation. Do I really need to involve everyone with this?
With these situations, what could have been done? Could they have turned to the law?
So in a typical lawyer answer, I'll tell you the answer is not straightforward. So you would go to the police if it's a criminal offense. That's the only thing the police can help you with. So let's say something like someone calls me chubby, it's not a criminal offense. Even if I went to the police, they would say, there's nothing I can really do. Then of course there's the whole other array of different types of harms like harassment, cancelling. What you can do is if you go to see a lawyer, they will tell you maybe what your legal rights are. You know, okay, if it's harassment, there's something called the Prevention of Harassment Act. You can go to court, it's self-help, get some court orders to stop this person harassing you. Of course, it takes time. Right? You have to do things like fill in affidavits, go to court, file the applications. Understandably, most people in a situation like this is very painful, right? Your instinct is, I just want to stop the pain. I want a swift and permanent end to it, right? And so, granted, the legal process may not be as fast and permanent as you like. So I can understand why it's not everyone's first option. But these days, the good news is that a lot of major social media platforms, they are developing their in-app reporting process to be a bit more sophisticated, a bit more responsive. So that one, as soon as it happens to you, you can report. I don't think it's the perfect solution yet, because if let's say someone is harassing you, you take down that profile tomorrow if you really want to still heal. Like the Hydra come up with another one, right? I mean, there are legal clinics available where you can go and see the lawyers for free. One of them is at the She Cares at AsiaOne Help Center. And one of the other things we offer there is a counselling service actually, which is very well taken up. It is so painful and difficult and traumatic to go through something like this. So sometimes I think for people who don't have that strong support system, the impact can be quite serious. I really think that we can, be a bit innovative and look at how people prefer to have this resolve, which is fast and permanent, right? And maybe come up with something a little more innovative. If you, let's say, wanted to seek damages from a person, now I go to court, I must prove all the receipts. I had to go and see a counsellor 10 times, it cost me $5,000. But if you can automatically say, as long as you've done this post has gone up, I automatically get $5,000. That could make things faster. I'm just giving an example. Money doesn't solve everything. And that would discourage things. So things like that, I think we can think about. I mean, I'm just really worried about people normalizing this, right? So having your internal compass is one thing, right? But then saying, okay lah, it just happens all the time. It's just another Tuesday. It's just another naked picture in my inbox. Just because it happens all the time, I think we still have to bear in mind that this isn't right. And we shouldn't get to a point where the online culture is just really nobody follows any rules.
I want to say, yes, you should know yourself as a person, but know that there's a limit as well. So I feel that if there are persistent threats, right, to you, and you feel it's getting unsafe, like it's getting to the point where you feel threatened, I think it's a good practice to keep receipts, keep any screenshots. We can't just hide all the time. And that option to take action is still in front of us.
And another general test we can apply is, would I do this in the real world? Or in the case of cancelling, would you gather a group of 100 people with pitchforks and fire and go to their house and, you wouldn't do that. Yeah, so if you can't do it in the real world,
then don't do it online.
Don't do it.
Yes.
Rule of thumb.
Thank you all for joining us in this compelling conversation about Singapore's digital landscape. From the darker corners of cyber harassment and cyberbullying to the grey areas of cancel culture, we've tackled it head on tonight. A heartfelt thank you to our participants who shared their own experiences, and special thanks to Ms Simran Toor for providing us with expert insights. Their contributions not only debunk myths but also enlighten us about the real tangible effects of online harm. The discussion we've had tonight challenged the notion that online harm isn't real harm. Anonymity can serve as a veil, but as we've seen, it can be misused to harmful ends. So what's the takeaway? Awareness is the first line of defense. Let's transform our online spaces to be as inviting and respectful as a local kopitiam chatter, diverse yet meaningful discourse. Got any thoughts? We want to hear them. Share your opinions and stay tuned for our next episode of Got People Say. Thank you guys. Thank you.